just been curious about what the reaction is of locals to foreigners coming to their countries. Because for someone like me, and there's a lot of people who feel like moving or leaving the United States, where the cost of living is going so high, and a lot of people, they see other countries, they see Colombia, they see Brazil, they see everywhere outside the United States there's somewhere that you can go, you can take your dollars, it goes further, because when you change your dollar, you get a lot more of the local currency, and you can, a lot of people find out that they can live a lot cheaper in these other countries, but then the locals may feel different. They feel like they're changing their communities, they're taking their spaces. So it will be very interesting to hear what your perspective is on this topic.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so in my case, it's too difficult even or have a strong opinion about that because, of course, I work with foreigners all the time,
Hmm.
and I also living with foreigners,
Hmm.
and yeah, I can see the situation, and I've been heard a lot of comments about the situation, and for me it's weird because if you see the opportunity to change your life or get more opportunities to save money or I don't know, meet new people or maybe try to start with your journey in Spanish or something, you are gonna try to take the opportunity all the time. But the problem, the real problem here is that Colombia or Latin American countries are poor in general. Yeah. And
Hmm.
when you, and if you earn money in dollars and you have different opportunities to other people and you decide to go to those countries, of course the difference is gonna show. You can see the difference as a native people or Colombian person. So it means that in reality the problem for us are the price because the price have been increased, talking about the food, talking about the rent and different in houses or apartments.
Hmm.
And yeah, the problem it's gonna be worse day by day. And the
It,
other problem or the high problem that I seen is that a lot of people or no or the okay, it's getting a bit worse, you're right, every day. So the problem is that the xenophobic is increasing as well, and yeah, people are trying to show the disagree with that problem. And I think the government should or must have or must establish more regulations for foreigners because it isn't fair when you are earning dollars and you pretend to have a normal life in a poor country because natives are used to have a rents in a specific prices, and when other person can or is able to pay more for the rents, of course the rent is gonna increase because of that. And in general, I think people are disagree or they are quite mad because there are a lot of people having a lot of opportunities here. And okay, talking about hostels and rents and different type of environments, and in general, yeah, people are uncomfortable with the situation.
hmm. Well, what do you feel like the foreigners who come to Colombia, do you feel like they contribute to the community in any meaningful way, or do you feel like these people are just looking for cheap places to live and not really contributing to the community?
Yeah, being honest, the majority of them are coming here because the prices, not because of the culture, not because of the language, not because of the what else, not because of the possibility to have a really good life. They are they are coming just because of the prices. The majority of them, I couldn't see that everyone is the same because a lot of foreigners have different expectations about Colombia or have different purpose about Colombia. But in general, I think the majority of them are coming because of the drugs, because of the prostitution, because of superficial things here in Colombia.
Wow, let's go into that. You said that a lot of people are coming because of drugs, prostitution, and things. What? How long have you lived in Medellin? Let's start with there first.
Around 7 years, at
7 years.
least.
So, how has Medellin changed in terms of the number of foreigners when you first moved to how it is now? How would you say, like, has the type of, because I remember from the video, they talked about how a lot of people would have like gotten a contract to come work. They were probably studying Spanish or something. But now you're saying that there's people who are coming just for superficial purposes. So, did you ever see that change between the typical type of foreigner that was coming to Colombia or that was coming to Medellin?
Yeah, if I think that Medellin have changed because of that,
No, I'm talking about like, did you notice the like since you moved to Medellin 7 years ago, the type of foreigners that you saw in Medellin back then, have the type of people changed? Like, is it the same type of people that you see feel like are just coming for drugs and prostitution, or before were you seeing people? Because you said a lot of people are coming here for the prices, they're not coming for the language, they're not coming for the culture. When you first moved to Medellin, were you finding a lot more foreigners who were there for the culture and for the language? Or has it always been you find foreigners in Colombia for superficial purposes and for the low price?
yeah, really good question. Okay, when I come to Medellin for the first time, I saw a lot of foreigners as well because Medellin is a really developed city. And now, at that time, a lot of people, when I come to Medellin for the first time, yeah, I saw a lot of different type of people because their interests were different. So they are interested in the country, in the culture, in the language, also in the coffee. But now it's totally different. The most popular tour here is Pablo Escobar tour. And all the time they are saying, oh, I love Pablo Escobar, for example. If you ask to them, for example, what do you think about Colombia or what do you know about Colombia, all the time they say, oh, I know about Pablo Escobar because of Narcos, because of Netflix. And for us as a Colombians, it's so sad because Colombia have a lot of different things and different type of tourists. And when a person just mentioned the name of Pablo Escobar, for us is like so disappointed because if you are looking for drugs, of course you are going to ask or you are going to mention that name. And the past, of course, that character was so how can I explain? Okay, that topic for Colombians is so um, is so sad
Hmm.
because a lot of things happened in the past. And when someone says, "Oh, I love Pablo Escobar," or "I just saw Pablo Escobar," or I've been seeing Narcos all the time," Colombian people get more than mad. They feel sad.
I can
They
definitely understand that because I actually watched a video about that. They were talking about how to Colombians feel about Pablo Escobar, and a lot of people were just not happy with the fact that that's what most foreigners come to Colombia looking for. Just like you said, Pablo Escobar tours are very popular. Uh, I've seen so many people wearing Pablo Escobar shirts here in the United States. So, I mean, I haven't watched Narcos, but I have watched documentaries about Pablo Escobar. So, for a lot of people, when they think Colombia, that is unfortunately the first person that they would think about, and it's kind of sad, but it's good that Medellin is not what it used to be. It's a very safe city now. So, but okay, so let's go into detail about what you talked about with the people who are just you feel coming for they're coming for superficial purposes. What led you to come to that conclusion? What did you see that made you think that?
Okay, this it's interesting because here in Colombia there are a lot of beautiful girls everywhere.
Mm,
So the problem is, for example, a lot of people says that in USA the girls are different. Okay, for me, all of girls are beautiful in all
mhm,
in everywhere, but they say that they are different, they are quite cold, and they are used to have a different behavior with guys in USA, for example. When they come to Colombia, they see other reality. The girls in Colombia are so warm, are so open, are so conservative at the same way, and they like to be beautiful all the time
mhm.
and wear different type of clothes and stuff, and they pretend to have a wife from Colombia because they like their behavior. But the problem is that some people think that, I don't know if they are confused or something, but when they come to the street, when they go to the street, they saw different girls working, and they think they represent all of girls in Colombia.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and all the time they are coming because of the girls. And when they start speaking, or where they start dating with those girls, they realize that those girls are prostitutes. Okay, I don't have problems with prostitution. I don't have problems with we know nothing about prostitution in Colombia. But the problem is when they start dating or something, they have a lot of problems with scopolamine or with different type of scams, and they start generalize, and they start saying, "Oh, all of Colombia's girls are a prostitute, are use scopolamine, and all of them are pretending to scam us." And for us, it's sad as well, because have to you have to you have to try to identify workers than normal girls. So in that case, for me, nowadays it's more common that there are a lot of foreigners coming to Colombia because of the prostitution, and the problem is that the prostitution is increasing, but the prostitution, it's connected with robberies and stuff, and everything is unsafe, or everywhere it's becoming unsafe because they are so naive all the time. I don't know if it's naive, or I don't know if they are looking for prostitution or for problems, but all the time here are a lot of insecurity, a lot of the prostitution is increasing because a lot of foreigners are coming. because of that.
Hmm, interesting.
Mhm.
Do you do you feel like these foreigners are coming to Colombia looking for wives, or do you think they're just looking to have fun with prostitutes and then go back to their countries?
I don't know. I always heard that they are looking for a wife, but at the same time, at night, if you go to Parquelleras, if you go to Cartagena, you can see the foreigners try to get the telephone numbers and try to contact them for fun. Okay, and I a little bit confused with that because I don't know if they are looking for a fan or a wife.
Okay, so with that said, what is your personal impression of like foreign men? Like if you came across a man in Colombia who wasn't from Colombia, what would be your first impression of him? Would you assume that he's just here for looking for girls? Would you assume he's here for the culture? What would you think?
I don't know. For me, it's, it's difficult because for me, the guys in general have to be more requirements when they try to get a when they try to get even a date, when they try to meet someone, they must be, or they have to have more requirements, and they have to have more low expectations about girls in general. Okay, doesn't matter if it's Colombia or if it's USA, because for me, a guy who have lowest high expectations about someone else is more special, it's more interesting, not just for me, for other girls. And when a guy tried to come to Colombia just because they saw a beautiful girl on the street working, and for us, or for me as a Colombian girl, I think, oh my God, it's so sad in general, because if you come to other country just for a girl, it's for me no makes sense. For me, it's like I don't know. The guy don't have good qualities in general.
Interesting, interesting,
Mhm.
interesting. So, I guess a lot of people are talking about the passport bros. Have you ever heard of the passport bros, and have you ever like met any passport bros in Colombia?
Yes, Pesh, I saw a lot of them. I never have seen, I never have heard something about passport bros, but my friend who is from USA, she explained to me, and she told me that there are a lot of them, especially in Atlanta. But I don't know if it's true. I don't know exactly what is the objective of passport routes, but yeah, I saw a lot of them in Cartagena. But explain me, how is it work?
Well, explain it to me.
And
How,
okay, explain to me. Mm-hmm.
how does it work? Um,
How does it
well,
work?
I don't necessarily consider myself a member of any group, but from what I see, um, well, wait, let me ask you this first. What did your friend tell you about the passport bros? And then I'll see if that's close to what the definition and understanding that I had. But let me see what she had to say. What did she tell you about it?
Okay, my friends told me that that group is for guys who are trying to find a girl for have a fun for fun
Hmm.
in other countries, because they don't like the girls in their countries, in their own country. It is true or it's false?
Um, I'm not gonna. I think there's a lot of truth to that from what I see. Like, I don't think Passport Bros is like a group. I don't think like guys are walking around saying, "Hey, I'm a Passport Bro," or like there is no like official Facebook group for Passport Bros. But from what I see, it's a it's a feeling amongst a lot of men that women in the West are a bit too difficult to deal with. So they have the feeling that women in other countries have a little bit more conservative and traditional ways of thinking, and they believe that those women are easier to get along with. So a lot of men do try to, I guess, look outside of the Western world for a wife. And a lot of these guys, just to be honest, they just feel like maybe a lot of women in the West are like, very, very strong believers in feminism, and like they don't really believe in the traditional family structures. So a lot of men are looking for women who are more open to a traditional type of life, and they feel like they can find that in women from other countries. I do think in every group, I definitely think if you go to any of these countries, if you go to Brazil, if you go to Colombia, if you go to the Dominican Republic, that you will definitely see men who are in it for fun. And I definitely think there are a lot of men who do talk about, being a passport bro, that do go to these countries just looking for fun. Like they'll be in the clubs, they'll be in, all the places where the girls are at, and then they'll have fun for 2 weeks and go back to their countries. But I also think that there are a lot of men who are actually trying to move to communities and like actually build something in the communities, find women who are actually traditional and get married. Like I actually know a guy, I don't know him personally, but he's someone I know who studies Spanish. He moved to Medellin and now he's engaged to a Colombian woman. And so, but like I said, I think the the worst people in every group are who end up representing the group. That's why there's a lot of people who think that a lot of people are just coming for fun, which is true. I think there's no way to deny that. But yeah, that's the way I view Passport Bros.
Mhm. Okay. And what do you think about that? What do you think about those groups? What is your personal opinion about that?
My personal opinion, I personally, that's interesting. I believe that everyone is a different case. I think everything is a risk. I think, for example, like a lot of when people talk about finding a wife in another country, a lot of people will tell you that, oh, the woman that you're finding in the other country, she only wants you because she wants to leave her country and she
Mhm.
wants to come to the United States, which I think on one hand can be arrogant because I think people in the United States, we tend to think that everyone who isn't American will do anything they can to come to America, which is not always true. And but I also do think that it probably does happen to where there are some women who just want to leave the country and will see dating a foreigner as a way to do that. So a lot of these men will think they're getting a type of woman, but once she kind of gets to the country and kind of gets, she gets used to her situation, she'll change the way she acts. I don't, like I said, I personally think that is something that's not very likely to happen, but I do think that is a real risk that people do take. So, um, and I think you can't just assume that just because a woman is like Colombian, that she's more traditional or she's conservative or she's anything like that. So I think people can go wrong there also.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But for me, it's weird, and a lot of people says that this is a really big red flag. When a guy tried to get or try to find a wife abroad, or especially in Latin America, is a red flag, because they say why a guy couldn't find a wife in their country, in their own country. Why?
Well, I think it's a matter of perspective. The way I would look at it, I don't think it's that these guys can't find a wife. I just think it's a situation in which you have the option to where you can look anywhere. It's just like if I grew up, let's say you grew up, let's say you were born in Cartagena,
Mm-hmm.
like you don't have to marry someone that's from Cartagena if you don't want to. Like you have more options. You can search for more options. So I feel like when men are like looking for a wife that's like a little bit, maybe she's not from their country. I don't think it's a matter of why can't you get a wife from your country. It's just that I have more options and I'm looking, and I'm taking those options to see what's out there. I don't Me personally, I'm like my background is Nigerian. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like if I married someone who wasn't a Nigerian, my parents would secretly not be happy about it. Uh, if I married a woman that wasn't Nigerian and also wasn't American, it would also probably be a problem because people would say the same thing. Oh, why can't you get a woman from your country? But like I've said, for me, it's not a matter of not being able to get a woman from my country. It's just a matter of having the option to get a woman from anywhere. So if I can get a woman from anywhere, why do I have to just like almost like as if I have to get a woman from my country just to prove to everyone else that I'm a good person? No, I
Mm-hmm.
have the option to pick from anywhere.
Yes, you're right. For me, it's not a big problem. For me, it's I don't understand why people says that it will be the red flag, but in my case, I think personally, I don't like Colombian guys. In my case, I don't, I don't,
Why does you like Colombian guys?
yeah, I don't like Colombian guys because I don't like them. Yeah, I like other guys from other countries. But yeah, and I don't think I'm a red flag or I having a or I showing a red flag from me. It's like I don't know. It's just about preference or
Yeah,
different options. No.
exactly. So for you, you don't have to, like I said, you grew up in Colombia, but that doesn't mean, so like if you, I don't know, talk to someone from England, that doesn't mean, oh, that's a red flag. Why doesn't she want a man from her own country? Just you have the option to get a man from anywhere. So why do you have to limit yourself to
Yes.
men from your country? So me personally, I think it would be easiest for me personally to just marry a Nigerian woman. I'm open to marrying anyone. I mean, I probably don't know if I could, let me not say that. This might go on YouTube. But I was gonna say I can't marry a white girl. But
You don't say that. Okay, but yeah, it's about preference. It's about I don't know, different options, and it's good. It's good because I already know Colombian guys, and I'm not saying that they are the same, all of them are the same, or they have a bad behavior, or they are bad people or something. No, for me, it's like I prefer other type of guy. That's it.
there's, see, there's probably something in the value system of men from other countries that you like. You probably can't, uh, and that Colombian guys just don't have. And I think it's the same thing for a lot of, I don't know if it's the same thing, but I think it's a similar feeling that a lot of passport bros have. But one thing that I will say is that for passport bros who are just going for prostitutes, you can't complain about the women in your country and then just go to Colombia or go to Brazil or go to the Dominican Republic just to sleep with prostitutes. That makes no sense to me. Me personally, I have no problem with a man who goes with true intentions to actually find a wife. I think you can tell people's level of respect for the culture by how they present themselves. Like I'm sure you see a lot of foreigners, they're in Colombia, they don't speak a word of Spanish, they don't care to learn Spanish. They just come with money and they think they can just pay girls to do whatever they want. That's different from if you meet a foreigner in your country, and even if he doesn't speak perfect Spanish, he can at least communicate. That shows like a level of effort and respect for your culture to where you can respect his presence in your country. I think people are a lot more patient with gringos who like speak Spanish, they respect the culture. But when you just have a gringo who's just some guy who just jacks up he just makes the prices go so high. He doesn't speak Spanish. He expects everyone to speak English, and he just thinks he can, spend money on everything. Those are the foreigners that make people tell gringos to go home.
Yeah, you're right. And at the end of the day, for me, being honest with you, I don't care if people comes to Colombia because of the prostitute, because it's their money. I don't care. It's not my problem. So the problem for me is some of them aren't showing respect for the culture. They don't are interested in learning the language or I don't know, see or know more about the culture or respect people. They just are coming because of the prices, and that's it. And for me, it's quite offensive
Mm.
as a Colombian native. Is quite offensive because if I go, if for example, if I were to USA, I have to learn English, and nobody is gonna speak in Spanish because of me. Okay. And yeah, I don't care if they spend their money in prostitution or drugs or alcohol. It's their problems. In my case, it's just show respect for the culture, and that's it.
Was that actually leads me to my last question. You talked about the prices.
Hmm.
There's something that we as foreigners we know we call it the gringo tax. Usually, that's why when I get in a taxi, I don't say a word because once they hear my accent, they always charge me more. When
Hmm.
you're a gringo, they always charge you more because they assume you have money. I think when people say that foreigners are the ones who drive up the prices, a lot of foreigners say that they are happy to pay the same price as the locals pay. It's the people in Colombia who see that they're a foreigner and then they start charging them more because they're a foreigner.
Hmm.
They don't like being charged more just because like when I'm in Brazil and I try to buy things, they always charge me more than if a Brazilian comes up to them.
Hmm.
They know I'm not from there. So
Hmm.
it's like they will say, but then people will blame me as the foreigner for bringing up the price. But I'm like, no, I want to pay the same price that everyone else pays. It's the people that are it's the local Brazilians who are charging more now. It's not me. I don't
Hmm.
charge me more.
Hmm. Yeah, you're right, but this is because of the currency. In reality, people 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 think that foreigners all the time have more money, and because you earn money in dollars, the change it's gonna be different, and just because of that you have to pay more. But right now it's different because the taxis have regulations, and now you could use a Uber or you could watch the menu before of go to the restaurant or something. For example, in Medellin, works in that way. For example, if you want to go to the restaurant, you could see the menu before of go, and see the prices and check the prices before of pay. And yeah, now it's more transparent. Nowadays is more transparent, but um, yeah, in other countries maybe they don't have enough control about foreigners or about the prices. But here, I think it's different. In Medellin, is different.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, well, wow. Let's hope that the situation doesn't get a lot worse. I watched a documentary about Costa Rica, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of digital nomads were essentially doing the same thing, where they create like a big price increase for everyone else. But you know. Let's see how it goes. But your English is great, Sandra.
Hi, thank you.
Love
Yeah,
it.
I made a lot of mistakes, but I just learning. Okay,
Yeah,
and
it's
thank
good to
you.
learn.
Okay,
Okay.
have a really, really good time and thank you for everything.
You
Okay,
too. Have a good one. All right. Bye.
bye.